The strange scent in the lab Zari was not like other alien girls. She was shy, curious, and always carried a small notebook to write things she didn't understand. Today was her first time visiting the human science dome on Earth. The place was strange to her, warm, loud, and filled with smells she had never known before. She walked in slowly, her 3 fingers gripping her notebook tightly. Her skin was light purple, smooth and cool. She wore her academy uniform and had tied her 2 long antennae behind her head. Her green eyes blinked fast as she looked around the room. Many humans were working. Some were mixing chemicals. Others were talking into devices. They all looked so focused. Zari didn't know where to go, so she stood near the entrance waiting for someone to notice her. Then she saw him. A human male, tall with brown hair and dark eyes, was lifting a heavy box near the back of the lab. He looked strong but calm. His name tag read Leo. He turned and smiled at her. "You lost?" he asked kindly. Zari blinked. His voice was soft, but it made her chest feel tight. I'm here to study human biology," she said, her voice shaking slightly. Leo walked over and offered his hand. "I'm Leo. Come, I'll show you around." Zari reached out to shake his hand. But as she got close, something strange happened. The air around him felt thick. She breathed in, and then everything changed. A wave of heat rushed through her body. Her knees went weak and she had to grab the table beside her. Her heart started beating faster. Her cheeks turned pink. Her long tail curled tightly around her leg, trying to hide her reaction. Leo looked worried. "Are you okay?" Zari nodded, quickly. "Yes, I'm fine, just a little dizzy." But she was lying. Something inside her had changed. A smell, a scent, was stuck in her nose. It was his scent. It was unlike anything she had ever known. It was warm, sweet, and strangely powerful. It made her body feel different. As she followed Leo around the lab, she couldn't focus on his words. Her body was reacting more with each second. Her hands were shaking, her skin grew warmer. She felt pressure in her chest and between her thighs. It was hard to walk normally. "What is happening to me?" she thought. She had studied mating behavior before, but this was different. This was real, and it was happening to her. She wanted to run to hide, but something made her stay. When the tour ended, Leo smiled at her again. "Nice to meet you, Zari. Hope to see you around." Zari forced a smile back. Yes, thank you." She turned and quickly walked out of the lab. As soon as she was alone in the hallway, she leaned against the wall, breathing heavily. Her fingers touched her face. It was hot. Her legs felt weak. She could still smell him in her mind. She rushed back to her dorm pod and locked the door. Inside, she dropped her notebook and looked at herself in the mirror. Her skin was glowing slightly and her breathing was fast. She unbuttoned her collar, trying to cool down. "This can't be," she whispered. "I didn't even touch him. I just smelled him." She sat down, hugging her knees. Her mind raced. Her people had legends about heat, a rare time when the body demanded connection, bonding, mating. But that only happened in strong couples. It never happened by accident, unless... Her eyes widened. Unless the body finds a perfect match. But he was human. That couldn't be true. It wasn't allowed. It wasn't natural. Was it? Zari felt both fear and something else, something deeper. She stood up and touched her belly. A strange warmth was growing inside her. And it wasn't stopping. She whispered one last thing before turning off the lights. "Leo, what have you done to me?" Her body won't stop changing. The mirror fogged up again. Zari wiped it with a trembling hand. Her reflection stared back. No longer the same quiet alien girl from yesterday. Her skin shimmered faintly, her pupils were larger, and her body was changing. She had barely slept. All night, her body felt like it was on fire from the inside. No cold water helped. No sleeping gas calmed her. Her sheets were soaked with sweat, and her heart thumped like it was fighting to escape her chest. Opened her shirt slowly. There on her stomach, a light pink glow pulsed beneath her skin, like something alive. Her body was reacting to something it had never known before. Pheromones, she whispered. Zari had read about them in human textbooks, invisible chemical signals that triggered responses. But on her world, such things were controlled, mild, and easily avoided. What she had breathed in yesterday from Leo was different. It had unlocked something deep in her, something ancient, something dangerous. Her pod buzzed. A message. Are you okay? You left in a hurry. Leo. She stared at the message for a long time. Her fingers wanted to reply. Her heart wanted to see him. But her instincts screamed, stay away. No, she said to herself. I need answers. She put on a hood and slipped out into the dark hallways of the habitat base. She avoided the cameras. She didn't want anyone to see her like this. Her movements were strange. Her hips swayed more than before, and her legs felt like they belonged to someone else. As she walked, her senses grew sharper. She could hear heartbeats behind walls. She could smell different humans down the corridor. But none of them smelled like him. Only Leo's scent still danced in her memory, pulling at her, calling her back. She finally reached the science wing. Instead of going into the lab, she turned left into the underground medical bay. It was quiet this late. Only one medic was working, an older alien named Rada. He looked up from a console and frowned. Zari, why are you here? You look unwell. Zari took a shaky breath. I need to run a scan. On myself. Privately. Rada raised an eyebrow but nodded. Very well. Step into the chamber. The scan lasted 2 minutes. When the results appeared, Rada went silent. Then he looked at her wide-eyed. Zari, your body is entering phase heat. Zari's heart stopped. That's impossible. I'm not bonded. I didn't mate. No, you didn't, he said slowly. But this kind of heat, it's not natural. It's been triggered. He pointed to the data. See this? Your body is changing to match an external chemical signal. Your DNA is adapting. To what? Zari whispered. Rada looked uncomfortable. To a human. Zari stepped back. No, that's not possible. Rada stood. Who were you? Near yesterday? She didn't answer. Zari, he said gently. This is not your fault. But you must understand. Your body has recognized a mate through scent, a perfect match, and now your instincts, your biology, they're chasing that link. But I don't want that, she shouted. Rada looked at her sadly. Then you must leave the base or the connection will complete. Zari shook her head. She didn't know what to do. Run, stay, face him, avoid him. She touched her neck. Her glands were warm, her skin tingled. She could already feel her thoughts, changing. Emotions she didn't know before were creeping in. Want, hunger, fear, desire. This wasn't just about biology anymore. This was something more. Back in her pod, she curled into a ball. Her tail wrapped around her like a blanket. Her breath came in short gasps. Her heart cried out for Leo, but her mind screamed to stay away. She opened her notebook and wrote just 4 words. My body chose him. A visit to the medic bay. Zari collapsed before she could reach the door. Her legs gave out beneath her, and the cold floor kissed her skin as everything spun. Lights above flickered in her blurry vision. The world sounded far away, like she was underwater. A soft buzz rang in her ears, and all she could think was, he's near. Footsteps rushed toward her. Zari? Zari? It was Leo. He had been walking down the hallway, heading to the lab for his night shift when he found her lying outside the medic bay. Her hood had fallen off, revealing her flushed face and glowing skin. Leo dropped to his knees. Zari, can you hear me? She opened, her eyes slowly. Even in her dizzy state, her body reacted to his presence. Her chest rose faster, her fingers twitched toward him. Her lips parted, but no words came out. Leo didn't wait. He picked her up in his arms and carried her through the medic bay doors. Emergency, he called. She's burning up. Inside the medical pod, machines beeped and scanned her quickly. Zari lay on the bed, barely conscious, while the medic, Rada, rushed in, shocked to see her like this again. "You brought her just in time," Rada said. Her internal temperature was nearly fatal. Leo stood back, watching helplessly, as Rada worked. "What's wrong with her?" The older alien hesitated. "It's complicated." "Tell me anyway," Leo said firmly. Rada sighed. "Her body has entered something called phase heat. It's a rare biological event, unique to her species. It only happens when the body identifies a perfect mating signal." Leo blinked. "Wait, what does that mean?" "It means," Rada said slowly, "she inhaled your pheromones, and now her body believes you are her mate." Leo stepped back in shock. "That's not possible. We barely met." "She didn't need to touch you," Rada explained. "For her species' scent is everything. If her body locked onto yours as a match, there's no stopping the change." Leo looked at Zari, still glowing softly on the bed. Her body was shifting. Bones, skin tone, even the shape of her pupils. She looked more human than she had before. "What will happen to her?" Leo asked. "If she stays near you," Rada said, "the change will complete. She will adapt to be closer to your biology, emotionally, physically. And if she doesn't, she may go into shock, or worse, her body might destroy itself trying to reverse something it doesn't understand." Hours passed. Zari slowly woke up, her eyes fluttering open. She looked around and saw the medical lights, and then Leo sitting beside her with his arms crossed and worry on his face. She tried to sit up. "Don't," he said gently. "You need rest." "You carried me here?" she asked, her voice hoarse. "You were burning up," he replied. "What's happening to you?" Zari looked away. "Something I can't control. I didn't ask for this." "I know," he said, "but maybe I can help." "No," she whispered. "You can't. Just being near you makes it worse." Leo didn't argue. He just stayed beside her. She closed her eyes again, fighting the warmth inside her. Even now her body wanted to reach for him. Her fingers twitched. Her breathing deepened. "I don't want to be someone I'm not," she said quietly. "But my body, it's choosing without me." Leo nodded. "Then I'll wait. I won't touch you. I won't force anything. But I'm not leaving you alone." That silence between them was soft but powerful. And in that quiet moment, Zari realized something terrifying. The changes were no longer just physical. Her feelings were changing too. The forbidden link. Zari woke up screaming, not from pain, but from a dream so real it shook her soul. In it, she had stood before her people, her skin fully changed, her voice echoing in a language she didn't know. A human language. She gasped, sitting up in the medical bed, her heart pounding. The room was dark. The lights were dim. But she wasn't alone. A soft glow shimmered behind a privacy curtain. She heard slow breathing. "Leo," she whispered. He stepped forward, holding a cup of warm water. "You were talking in your sleep," he said gently, "and you said my name." Zari didn't take the water. She just stared at him, her lips trembling. "My body isn't mine anymore," she said. "It's becoming something else. And it's all because of you." Leo sat down on the stool beside her. "Then tell me what to do. Tell me how to stop it." Zari looked down at her hands. The fingers were longer now, more human-shaped. Even her voice sounded slightly different. Softer, rounder. This wasn't just a reaction. It was a rebuilding. "I went through ancient texts," she whispered. "My people only change like this during sacred bonding. It only happens when one's soul connects to another through scent, memory, and instinct." Leo didn't speak. He just listened. Zari continued. But there's a reason we never bond with outsiders. It's forbidden. Our elders believe our kind would be lost if we mixed with others. Leo frowned. You think I'm ruining you? No, she said, quickly, her voice cracking. That's the problem, I don't think that. I think you're fixing something I didn't know was broken. Rada entered the room quietly, holding a datapad. I was afraid of this, he said after scanning Zari. Your transformation has passed the threshold. What does that mean? Leo asked. It means her body has accepted the change, Rada replied. Even if she leaves now, it may be too late to reverse it. Zari's eyes filled with tears. I'm becoming something that doesn't belong anywhere. Rada placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. Or, you are becoming something new. A bridge between two worlds. Later, Leo helped her sit near the window of the med bay. The stars outside blinked like tiny eyes watching them. Neither spoke for a while. Finally, Zari whispered, Do humans bond like we do? Leo chuckled softly. Not like that. But I guess we fall in love. We connect. We choose. Zari turned to him. But my body didn't wait for my choice. It just chose you. He met her gaze. Then maybe now it's your turn to choose back. Her breath caught in her throat. That night, a council message arrived for Zari. The elders had learned of her condition. A choice had to be made. Immediately. Return. Home, undergo purging and be restored. Or stay and complete the bond, risking exile. Zari read the message in silence. Her fingers shook. She had spent her whole life trying to make her people proud. Now she was being told that loving someone human, was shameful. She looked at Leo, who was asleep in the chair beside her. Even resting, he looked protective, strong, kind. She reached out and gently touched his hand. Warm, steady. She didn't know what future would come, but her body had already made its decision, and now, so had her heart. Isolation and confession rain was rare on this side of the alien moon, yet here it was, pouring like the sky itself was crying. Zari stood in it, barefoot and alone, her head tilted back, letting the cold drops soak her hair, her skin, her slowly changing body. The storm had come without warning, just like everything else in her life lately. Her clothes clung to her, her breath came in shaky bursts, and her heart pounded like a trapped animal. She had run, left the medic bay, left Leo, left everything. Not because she hated him, but because she didn't, and that scared her more than anything. Behind her, footsteps approached. She didn't turn. I knew you'd come, she said softly, her voice nearly lost in the rain. Leo stepped closer but didn't touch her. He stood beside her just far enough to respect her space but close enough to share her storm. I saw your note, he said. Just 3 words, don't follow me, so of course I followed. Zari gave a small, bitter laugh. I needed space, and I gave it. But you're freezing out here. She looked down at her trembling hands. That's the idea. Maybe, if I get cold enough, my body will stop burning. Leo finally took off his jacket and gently wrapped it around her shoulders. She didn't resist. It won't stop, he said. Because it's not just a reaction. It's something more. Zari turned to him, tears mixing with raindrops on her cheeks. I didn't ask for this. I didn't want to change for someone. I wanted to be enough as I was. Leo nodded. You were enough. You still are. She shook her head. My people will never accept this. I've already received a final message. If I stay, I'm banished. If I return, I lose everything that's grown inside me, including the part that now responds to you. She backed away, trembling. I don't know who I am anymore, Leo. I can't sleep. I can't breathe. I can't even think straight when you're near. Leo stepped closer again. Then tell me to go. Zari opened her mouth, but no words came. Tell me, Leo said softly, that you don't want me here. Still, she stayed silent. Because the truth was in her eyes, and that truth broke the final wall between them. She collapsed into his arms, not from weakness, but because her heart had finally stopped fighting. "I hate this," she whispered. "I hate that I want this." Leo held her gently, not like a conqueror, but like someone holding something sacred. "You don't have to understand it all right now," he said. "You just have to trust that whatever's happening, we'll face it together." Zari buried her face in his chest. "What if I change so much? I lose who I am." "Then I'll help you remember," he whispered. Every step of the way. And in that cold rain, where fear and fire met, something warm bloomed between them. Not just desire, but the beginning of trust. The choice of two worlds. The room was silent. Too silent. Zari stood in the grand chamber of elders, but her heart was still back on the rainy hill where Leo had held her. Around her, tall alien leaders sat in golden robes, their faces calm but cold. Their eyes did not see her as their princess anymore, only as a problem, a danger, a girl who had broken ancient bloodlines with one breath of human scent. One of the elders finally spoke. "Zari of House Sorrentha, your body is no longer your own. You carry foreign instincts, forbidden desires. You stand at the edge of two worlds." Zari did not look away. "I didn't choose this," she said, "but now I choose what happens next." Leo wasn't allowed in the chamber. He stood outside the high gates alone. Armed guards lined the walls. He could only watch the screen showing Zari's hearing. She looked small standing before so many. He clenched his fists. "Come on, Zari. Don't let them break you." Inside, the elders presented her with a glowing stone, a cleansing shard. One touch would purge the bond. Her body would return to normal. No more pheromone madness. No more longing. No more Leo. Zari stepped toward it, her hand raised. But she paused. Her fingers trembled just inches from the stone. She remembered how Leo had looked at her, not as a creature, but as someone worth protecting. She remembered how his jacket had felt warm against her shoulders, how he didn't run when her body changed, how he stayed. She turned her back to the stone. "I won't erase him." Gasps filled the chamber. Elder Rakor stood. "Then you reject your people?" Zari's voice shook, but it was strong. "No, I'm redefining them. My bond may have started with scent, but it grew into something more. Something deeper. Something human." The council called for a recess. Zari walked out slowly, the chamber doors closing behind her like the end of an era. Leo stood up straight when he saw her. "What happened?" She looked at him and smiled. "I didn't choose between worlds," she said softly. "I chose us." Leo didn't know what to say, so he didn't. He just pulled her into a hug, tighter than ever before. Later that night in the private guest quarters, Zari looked at her reflection again. Her eyes were now a soft hazel, a mix of her original green and human brown. Her face had changed, her walk had changed, but when she looked in her eyes, she still saw herself, a new self, one that had risked everything to keep the bond alive. Leo joined her by the window where alien stars glowed like fireflies. "You know this means exile," she said. He nodded. "Then we'll make a new home." Zari reached for his hand. "Somewhere between human and alien." Leo smiled. "Exactly. Where we belong. A new bond. A new beginning." She stepped onto the galactic summit stage with a human beside her, and the whole galaxy watching. Cameras flashed, leaders whispered, some gasped. Zari's skin now shimmered with a blend of violet and warm earth tones. Her eyes were not fully alien, not fully human, but something beautifully in between. She wore a gown stitched from both her people's royal threads and Earth's military cloth, and in her hand she held Leo's. The girl, once too shy to speak in class, had become the voice of change. "Today," she said into the echoing silence, I stand not as a princess, not as a rebel, but as proof. Murmurs swept through the crowd. She continued, proof that we are not meant to remain divided by scent, skin, or species. That something as simple as a breath can begin a story no law could predict. Behind her, Leo watched with quiet pride. He hadn't asked for this attention. He hadn't wanted power. He had only wanted to protect the girl who once fainted outside a lab door. Now that girl was rewriting history. The Galactic Summit was the largest interstellar gathering in the quadrant. No one expected the half-changed alien girl and her human partner to be the center of it. But Zari's transformation had gone viral across systems, her rejection of the cleansing stone seen as an act of courage, or madness depending on who you asked. Some called her a traitor, others called her the future. After the speech, Zari and Leo sat in a quiet room backstage, their hands still joined, fingers gently laced. "Did I sound too emotional?" she asked. "You sounded like someone who meant every word," Leo replied. She leaned on his shoulder. "I'm scared." "So am I," he said. "But I'd be more scared without you." Outside, the Summit Council members began to vote, whether to accept Zari's species into the human alliance as equals, or to ban her people for what they now feared she represented. But for Zari and Leo, that choice no longer defined them. Their journey had never been about politics. It had been about survival, trust, and a bond no one else could understand. Weeks later, on a quiet moon near neutral territory, Zari and Leo walked through their new home. It wasn't grand, just a small research outpost turned into a home. The stars above were the same ones that once judged them, but now they blinked like old friends. Zari knelt in the garden and touched a flower with her now half-human fingers. "This place is peaceful," she whispered. Leo joined her. "It is, and it's ours." She looked at him and smiled. "You once asked me to choose." He raised an eyebrow. "And? I choose you, every day, even if my body hadn't." Leo chuckled. "Well, I'm lucky your biology had good taste." They laughed together, truly relaxed for the first time in months. In the distance, a message beacon blinked, a new invitation. This time, from both the Human Alliance and Zari's people. They wanted to talk. Together, Zari looked at Leo. "Think." "They're ready for us?" Leo grinned. "No, but we're going anyway." And hand in hand, they walked toward the future, not as alien and human, but as one.